Oh, hiya, buddies. Welcome to Barn Burner here on a rainy kind of Thursday here in the city of Calgary, if that's in fact where you are. And depending on when you listen or watch, it may be sunny or snowy by the time you watch this show. But as we do this today, that's the really unnecessary details that we give to you. Welcome to the show. It's, you know what I was going to start with today? I got up this morning like, oh, rabbit. Not quite.
That's a balk. Take your base.
I know.
Rabbit.
August 31st. So tomorrow when we don't do a show.
That's right. Yeah.
Look at us here. Look at all of us separately together in the Tower. Chrysler Studios Tower. Chrysler Consumer Choice Award winner, voted Calgary's favorite Chrysler Dodge dealer. I was driving by yesterday, and we're now well removed from the whole COVID BS and all that stuff and supply chain and whatever. But there's still some car lots that have this issue. They're having a hard time finding vehicles. Can't get vehicles. Their lots half full. Does not seem to be a real problem over at Tower. I drove by yesterday, and they are jammed with vehicles, new and used. They have whatever. What do you want? Truck, Jeep, car? What do you used? New? What do you want? Go and see Serge over at Tower. The lot is full. She's full up, baby. And I would guess, how many weeks till snow tires?
Oh, Dean.
I'm just what?
It's
It's basically September.
Didn't you say it's 3 degrees today, or like?
Yeah,
He was exaggerating. Yeah.
Oh,
Not through at all.
So Tower Chrysler, your winter tire
Oh,
snow hookup. Are we
Thanks,
sad?
Serge.
Are we sad to see summer kind of slipping through our fingers, or are we good with it? Did we get enough in this summer?
I could keep summer, but can you kick my kids out?
yeah, that's it for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
If anyone wants
This-
a set
this-
of twins,
Yeah,
OBO.
this teacher's bullshit has to end. I can't take it. I
What
love
is
you
that
gu-
again?
I love all you teachers. You're great people. I would never do what you do, and I know you need the time off, but you can't subject us to your lifestyles for 2 months. Can't do it.
Oh, it's just so that they don't because they don't work in the summer. That's got it.
Rhett doesn't like the way they work, and then he doesn't like it when they don't work. So I don't know. He just sort of he doesn't like them.
I think that the year-round thing would be lovely. Give me a couple weeks every other month. That's good. It's too much. I wake up, I look at them, they annoy me. I want them out.
My guys are ready for some structure, Dean. I don't know about
Yeah.
your crew. We were happy to do the handoff this morning. It was great stuff. We found out who the teachers were, which buddies are in the class, and it's like, all right, you guys are actually busy doing productive things until 3 deuces.
What grade are we doing?
Grade 3. Wow. I know.
Wow.
Kids are time machines, man. It really
Yeah.
messes you up.
And you, Rhett, what are you?
5, 7, and 9.
Grade 9. This is me in grade
This
9.
is-
How is
Me
that kid so
grade
big
9.
in grade 9?
Grade 9.
Oh.
Wow. I took one, my middle kid, who's now with the oldest dummy. He graduated, so we've got 2 in school now. Off to high school, a little overwhelmed with the size and just like, oh, I can't believe I'm going here. It's like, yeah, you are. 5 days a week. Get ready for it. Get out of the house.
That'd be like your first trip to Brandon, something like that. You go with big cities,
Oh,
busy,
man, big-
happening, like
yeah.
bustling every. Oh, look at all the people,
Yeah,
cars,
big
traffic
deal.
lights.
Had to get the photo ID card and everything.
What the hell did they do with that?
I don't know.
Anything?
Charging lunches. What are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know. But we went to beat the week 1 rush because they get back in next week, I guess. So, but yeah,
Not in yet.
get out of the house. Get out of the house. So Dad can stay home. So I can be here. Doing exactly the opposite of what I'm giving them shit for doing, which
Well,
is sitting around the house.
See, if they're there, you leave. You go to the studio. You get the hell out of the house.
That's right. What the hell? You know what? I was going to ask you. Now, we had put on social media, Jamie McLennan, former Flame, we all know Noodles, Jamie McLennan, going to join us on the show today, unless he doesn't.
That's always the case. Yeah.
Do we have a Noodles update?
He was traveling today to the big metropolis. I think he was on his way to the NYC. He said his plane was delayed.
Windy City.
Felt like it should still work, but an hour after he had originally planned. Haven't heard from him. I'm guessing he's in the air, but you just never know nowadays, right? With the air travel, anything could happen.
Air
Guys got
travel's
big-
the best unless it's the worst, because then it is the worst.
When it goes well, it is the best because you're like, oh,
Yeah.
Like
So
that
great.
15-minute flight you had from Buffalo to Toronto last year. That's how you do it, Red. That's zips, bang, bang, no lines, no customs.
that is good travel.
Yeah.
I think those rich bastards have got it figured out.
Yeah.
Private.
Right.
Huh.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's the way to do it. So, something I was going to bring. So if we get McLennan, we'll have him, and if we don't, we won't. So that's kind
Stay
of
tuned.
your noodles update. But don't blame us. Oh, you guys, like, what are we going to do? Blame
Delta. Yeah.
Flare Air or whatever the hell it is.
No, not Flare or Delta. It would be a US based company, I'm guessing.
Well, what's that one that goes
JFK. Blame JFK. Gets backed up. There's a backlog of flights. Lots of people. How was Razor the other day?
Unbelievable.
He was terrific.
Sensational.
So much better than you, in fact.
I don't know if he has the stamina to do 5 a week, but like quite a bit better than you are.
Oh man, he was shooting the shit. He was joking around, and then we got into it about the Sabres and about kids playing hockey and how to develop. We covered a lot.
He's talking that he's got the thing going on that used to happen at Gretzky's place in L.A., where no window coverings and the wife's changing. And anyway,
He said he was
stuff. Really
he was
painted the picture.
Yeah, he was really happy having you guys living next door without window coverings.
Yeah.
Really great start to his day. And I suggested to him, I'm like, well, with your backyard pool, you better watch it because there might be somebody across the yard looking at you with your tarp off.
Two-way street, Robert.
So what? Okay, so what is the living? Your next door neighbors? He was talking about how your dumb kids are climbing over the fence, even though there's a gate.
They wrecked his
That's what they said.
floaties and stuff.
He said it was like within half an hour, they destroyed a floaty, foam all over his pool.
Yeah.
Hey, well, quit buying those fancy floaties. What are you doing with the little beads in there? Come on.
Yeah, the door's open on the vehicle. They haven't even closed the doors or taken stuff inside the house. They're already in his backyard tearing shit up.
I love it. And you sent a picture, Rhett, and it's so Buffalo that the way I had envisioned it was kind of like, what was it, Home Improvement, where the neighbor just had the wooden fence and the nose was over. But of course, it's the chain link. You can see right through. There's no privacy. It's
no
classic
fencing
Buffalo.
at all. Wide
So-
open. Yeah.
Are you living in a chapel or something? What is that house?
No, that's Robert's place.
It looked like a church or something. What kind of a
majestic.
living quarters is that?
I think they have steep roof lines here.
Yeah,
If that's what you're referring
Snow.
to, because of the heavy snow.
gotcha.
Yeah.
So next door neighbors to the legend.
Oh,
And again, you
like-
kind of just slid it in there. It was like, oh yeah, and maybe it'd have been Rob. He's like, oh yeah, he needed a place, so his yard's facing ours. I'm like, oh, are they in the same neighborhood? Like, no, literally, you have a fence separating your backyard and Rob Ray's. How did this happen? I feel
we
like we're
share
missing
a
a key
chain link
component.
fence. It's
That's
wonderful. He got a new Blackstone. I'm pumped to go over there for
Oh,
breakfast.
yeah.
It's gonna be good.
So is that his place? Because he talked about the land that he's got. That's his place?
He's got two places. The land that he's referring to is probably an hour and a bit south of here, near Ellicottville, the little village. They refer to it as a ski hill here. Pinder might know Blackstrap.
Yeah.
Sort of that sort of
The pimple
feel.
on the prairie.
Sweetland, Georgie Sweetland. That guy's kid's on the hockey team. He's a good dude. Pool party at Razors.
On your hockey team?
Yeah.
See, this was news to us. We didn't realize Razor's got a kid your kid's age, and we got Patrick Coletta and who was the other one?
Matt Ellis.
Yeah. Wow.
This
Who's who?
I thought you were assistant coach for life. You're really taking the plunge this year, right?
Wait. Coletta, you know, when you go to if you're in New York City, like Noodles is right now, and you're walking down the park, and they got those guys with the 3 cones that they put the ball under, and then they shuffle them around. And
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah. Like the shell game.
yeah, Coletta pulled that one on me. Yeah.
You might be an associate assistant, a head something. And,
Oh,
Yeah.
what? Oh, seems like a lot of responsibility and work, and I've got 3 children, and you don't, and blah blah blah.
It was interesting because at the start of the show on Tuesday, you kind of ran us through your weekend. You had 3 or 4 hockey games. It was very busy, and how the record went. And
7.
You had a lead, and then it kind of went away, and that sort of thing. Ray then took us through the same thing, much the same report, except he had said the final game of the weekend was a victory, yet it was the one that upset Coach Warner the most, and the F-bombs were raining down.
A tirade of F-bombs.
He's do recall what his career entailed, and he is misrepresenting the weekend.
He's instigating you. That's what he's doing.
It was the Oakville Rangers. We had him at 4-1 with about 9.5 to go. We're dominating. We're kicking the piss out of those boys from Oakville. And things started to fall apart, and Coach Rhett's blood pressure went up, and a couple kids, they did the old, I'm screaming, change, and they did the old
meh,
and kept going, and wouldn't you know, they got scored on. So they came to the bench, and they were informed of their poor decisions.
Yeah. So when the coach says it's time to change.
Isn't that what happened to Top Gun? He kept doing the flybys by the tower, even though they told him not to.
He was buzzing the
can't
tower.
hold down these Mavericks, Rhett. Come on now.
Yeah.
Kids are so stupid too, right? Like, you've all done it. Change the train. And they, if the whole rink hears you.
Yeah.
They heard me in the other effing rink.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. What?
I didn't hear you.
I couldn't hear you.
Got the assistant coach rattling the fucking gate. Clack, 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 clack. Change. Clack, 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 clack. I didn't hear you, coach.
What?
Okay, so I guess you're off the hook then. If that's how it goes, then justified.
And you got Matty Ellis doing all the drills. Ray was saying you got a
see,
guru.
It's
you don't
people
have to plan the
management.
Practices.
People management.
Yes,
Delegating.
good leaders delegate. Rhett.
This
You're an
guy
idea
is
guy.
so dialed in.
Yeah.
So I had to run practice yesterday, and nothing. Georgie, don't worry about it. I got it. I had nothing planned, so I called Matt Ellis, and he had about 12 drills to me, just like that.
That's your boy.
Wow.
I like that.
Sounds like a guy that should be the head coach.
He's got bigger fish to fry.
Hey, Matty, stay on these coattails. You're riding with the Redster.
Yeah.
On to the NHL we go.
Oh, he's already there. Shit.
Want to say hello to our boys up at Mad Rose Pub in Royal Oak. I bet they've had a hell of a summer up there. We owe them a visit. That patio's probably just been humming all summer. Still will be. That's the great thing. It's got the roof, the thing that's got the, this.
Cantilever.
It's got these things.
It's a cantilever.
20 beers on tap, kid-friendly Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Great food, great service, great people. Some of the best pizza. Some would say the best pizza in the city. Gourmet pizza. Yes, sir. Visit the website. You can get some takeout, get it brought to your place of business or your dwelling. Madrose.pub, the website. 15 Royal Vista Place. Looking forward to another fall and winter with Mad Rose Pub on board with us here at Barnburner.
And Retro, don't let Boom's gloom get you down, because here in Calgary, there's some good weather coming for the long weekend. I'm seeing 24, 28, 26.
Now, what are we looking on Monday? Because I saw that
wet, but Friday
yes,
through Sunday looks real good for the old Mad Rose.
Okay, stop. That is you two just perfectly represented. Pinder is very positive. He's going to get out there and do stuff. We've got a great long weekend coming.
Yeah.
The weather looks good. Oh, what about Monday?
Huh?
well,
Monday's still good. It's damn well wet on Monday.
Because the reason I brought it up is the Labor Day football game. People are like, oh, man, it looks like it's going to be kind of shitty weather for the football game. So that's all, whatever. Much like you, Rhett, misrepresentation. I feel like I've been misrepresented here.
Yeah, Dean's always glass half full. Come on.
For Christ's sake. I'm going to show you this thing. What's that, Ryan?
5 o'clock kickoff, too.
Oh, and what's the...
Well, if you like your highs of 15 with wind and rain.
Okay.
The
No,
poor
you're right.
Stamps can't get a fucking break.
I am a negative prick.
Well, I mean, I think you're right on Monday. There's still another, 2 to 3 days of that long weekend, depending on
Well, you said Boomer's negative, but we got a great weekend coming up. And all I know about the weekend was it looks like the football game's going to be the shits. Yeah. Okay, so
28 Saturday.
You can see this here.
Nope.
This is one of those things on your social, your TikTok or whatever. It's like, here's what we're going to be doing. September, 30 days.
Oh,
what are we
no.
doing?
Oh, some fitness challenge or something or whatever.
Yeah. So on there, I was just wondering, now this guy's laid out no chips, no juice, no
Okay,
sugar,
Blackbird.
no alcohol, more veggies, steps and fiber and stuff. Now, are we feeling that we want to do something similar, maybe as a group?
What? Doesn't this asshat know the NFL starts on the 7th?
A triumvirate, maybe we bring in the barn burner boys and girls, the family, and we 30
telling me
days.
that my wife's fat? My kids need to get in shape?
not what
Is
I
that
said
what
at
you
all.
mean by
What are you
family?
saying,
Or are you
dude?
talking
No.
about us as a family?
Rob said she looks great.
That's true. He did.
Yeah, Razor's a big fan. No, I'm just wondering.
I'm up 14, except for Saturday night, because I'm going for an anniversary dinner. And then September 17th, I've got Bill's home opener tickets. I was actually going to talk to you about that on this podcast, Dean. It's come to my attention and yours that one of the Three Stooges will not be in Calgary for a week to 10 days. I thought about throwing it out to you that maybe, perhaps, you would like to attend this game
In Buffalo.
in Buffalo.
Dino.
I am intrigued. I
The
would
Las
have to.
Vegas Raiders will be in town.
Oh, yes.
Ready to battle the Bills!
Well, I do know that after just basically having 2 months off, it's definitely time to take more time.
You went to Mexico. You went on a no. You did your winter vacation in the summer, so now you have to have your summer.
No, yeah, but I'll be
fall
here.
getaway.
I'll be here. It's all right.
And you know what else? It's,
Pinder's going to put in a solid 5 days, and then get out of here again. But that's okay.
It's 2 weeks, but yeah.
We're not judging. You know, the 14th.
It's a wedding. I'm sorry.
I say go. It's
Where is it?
September.
Portugal, Bermuda,
It is in Italy.
Italy.
I have not been since I was about 20. So I'm very excited.
It's good. That's where Coletta went.
Yeah.
Best.
So you will not be doing any no liquor,
God,
no
no, dude.
sugar. That's the worst setup ever.
Yeah, I'm
man.
going to Italy and get a low carb it.
You got to turn on Red Zone and not have chips and have no sugar and no booze? Like the NFL starts in 2 Sundays, fellas. We're not
You can
shutting
eat
this thing
healthy.
down.
Make cauliflower wings or whatever the hell they call them.
Yeah.
I don't mind those, actually. That's decent.
Yeah, sure.
That went over
Okay.
flat, Dean. I don't see. You know what? It's choices. Now, Pinder's going to have a hard time going away the way he is in Italy. But for the two of us, we can do it. You can mix in a cheat day. It's not ideal. But
That was a rough list that this guy had put
Can you read it?
together,
Because
though.
it's tough to make out the font there with the
Okay.
picture behind it.
Number one, so for the next 4 weeks, 30 days, and some people do 30 days, 30 minutes of whatever, but for this, it was just kind of a list. No chips.
now, is that all chips?
Poker chips?
Let's assume
Because they
Yes.
make carrot
Paint
chips. Can I have a carrot chip? What about
It's
a yam?
not going to go well, this list. I'm telling you, Dean.
I
I
know.
love
We're not
chips.
gonna
I'm
go-
living
yam
on
chips.
If
Can
you
I-
want to do this, we've got your back, Dino, okay? But there's no fucking way Rhett not doing this.
If you're
What a
coming to the
team.
Raider game, it's going to be hard not to tailgate and have
Yeah.
a smash burger.
So this guy here is saying no chips. There's no small print about carrot or yam chips.
Okay.
Just no chips. No soda or juice. I guess just in terms of our life, what would be hard and what would be manageable?
I can agree with that. Yeah.
Forgetting about what our plans are, but just in general, if you were going to
Soda
do
or
something.
chips, I could go, or soda or juice, I could go the rest of my life. Not
Yeah,
an
no
issue.
sweat. Yeah.
Yeah, I could manage that. The chips tricky, but could probably find a way. No white bread.
Easy.
It's going to make breakfast a lot harder.
There's this bread.
But do you
it's
do
called
white bread?
Hero bread.
Oh, no,
like
I
hero
mean,
bread.
I guess to define white, I guess. Yeah, no, I don't do the white. I usually just got a bunch of seeds and shit. in it,
Yeah,
so
you would have
if that's
a bunch
good. I'm
of-
good. Okay.
A bunch of birdseed and shit in it. We're
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
you
a
know my
rye
wife.
bread,
Yeah.
birdseed bread house. I'll wait on number 4. Number 5, more water.
I can do that.
Just
I was told on numerous occasions my water intake is phenomenal.
Really?
really
Yeah.
ice cubes, lots of ice in your Whiskey?
Just press that, please. Really light on the diet.
The old heart doctor, they were like, this is as high a water consumption, I don't know, test as we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Are you doing 3-4 liters a day? What are you doing?
A lot. I don't measure it, but every time I walk by, I have some water.
Good for you.
And I mean,
So
it's good because there's lots of lead in the water in New York.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, your temple. So
That's right. So your pee is nice and clear. There's no yellowy, smelly tinge to it. Good for you. Okay, so more water, more vegetables.
I could do that.
it's gonna be tough at my house. We've already got all.
You're
the
already so deep.
vegetables.
Yeah, we'll let you off on the hook. We'll let you
Thank
off the hook there. 10,000 steps a day.
Stupid stat, but whatever. Activity. Let's call it something.
Increased. Yeah, we're gonna. Okay.
I'm walking all the time. That's easy. Walk and bike. Let's go.
More fiber. Is fiber still a good thing?
Well, are you talking about those? You take a scoop in the morning, or are we talking about real food fiber? What the hell? Where does the fiber, like cruciferous
in the water?
vegetables? Isn't that? Aren't you going to get more fiber just because of the vegetable?
I would think so.
Don't old people you're supposed to take fiber so you can shit?
Yeah.
I got no problem shitting. I feel like much like you with your vegetables, Ryan.
Yeah. Okay.
Fibers.
Good. No worries.
So sure, I can do fiber. I just don't know what.
Yeah. More lifting weights.
Yeah.
I'm
4
going hard
days
the
a
last
week.
2 months. I'm good. I'm feeling real
4
good right now.
4
No
days a week.
PBs.
I don't know how much. I mean, I could do more days, but I thought the older you got, maybe you were supposed to.
Yeah, I don't know.
Rhett and I are good there.
Number, I guess 10. No sugar.
Fuck.
Pull a surge. Surge at tower, no sugar.
No sugar is tough. Like zero sugar is very tough. Rob Ray is on the zero sugar kick right now. So I can do it because
good for
I'm a
the new neighbors.
meatitarian. I'm a carnivore guy. So
But sugar's everywhere.
That's what I
and
mean.
that's
Like,
just it. Like I don't add, and I don't add sugar, and I don't eat sweets per
Yeah.
se. I mean, I will,
Mm-hmm.
but I could. But to go without sugar completely is really difficult.
so I got a question with this no sugar, because sugar's like in everything. So are you removing stuff that has sugar in it, even if it's not a sugary thing? Like if you're making, like, let's say
the
meat
idea.
sauce for pasta, there's going to be an
It's sugar,
element of
fresh.
sugar in the
Make it
pasta
fresh.
sauce, right?
Make it
Like, what are we
fresh.
doing here? What do you eat?
Make it fresh.
Yeah, ketchup's full of it. It's just
Ketchup. Fuck yeah.
It's everywhere.
I mean, sauces, you're going to get destroyed. But even if you were just having meals without sauces, there's sugar in almost everything.
Yeah, if you
fruit.
don't make your own sauces, there's definitely sugar in it.
Yeah. So what if you make a conscious effort, like no desserts, no sweets,
No
That's
problem.
easy. Yeah.
and then be conscious of your sugar?
I'd rather have a pickle or a piece of pastrami than a sundae anyway.
Yep.
Screw
Same.
sweets.
Sugar bad.
Yeah, it's bad for you. More lean protein.
Don't give a shit about that. I think that's overhyped and it's a bunch of BS. From Dr. Rhett. Consult your physician.
Dr. Wife has got lots of lean meat, if that's what's going on.
So
like-
what's the basis? there,
Halibut
Doc?
lean meat. I made a delicious halibut
yes.
last night. So good.
Wow.
Nice pea risotto.
Clear pea. Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of water. And then to double back to the one that I skipped past.
Yeah, I know what this one is. Yeah.
Booze. Can you lay
See,
off
booze has. See, the
booze?
problem with the booze is it has sugar,
Yeah.
and then it gets rid of all your willpower. So definitely, you're eating the fucking chips then, and probably your willpower is gone. So if there's you're going to add some sugary beverage to this drink. It's a good chance.
Mm.
It's a bastard, that booze, but I love it.
It's that first domino, isn't it, Red? Like you knock that one down. It shouldn't be number 4. That's number 1. Because if you can't get number 4 done, the rest are fucking KO'd.
Talked to Reg yesterday. No drinking all summer. 2 glasses of wine.
Max. That's
That's what he did all summer. 2 glasses of wine.
how many times a day though? Oh, geez.
At breakfast?
Yeah,
Per meal,
breakfast, lunch.
per sitting, every hour. Yeah, okay.
God. Reg,
It's just
right?
attached to fun. Like I don't want to.
I
I've
know.
done the no booze thing, and I'm like, man, things are more boring. And maybe that's a statement about my
Well,
decisions, or no, maybe it's not. It's just like I
You
guess I
refer
could go
to
read a book and go to bed early.
You refer to your buddies, and Razor quit drinking, And what does he do instead of drink? Eat.
If you're in the
You're gonna
pub,
find him.
got some wings, I guess. More wings.
I didn't eat. I didn't drink anything, so I'm gonna finish off that buffalo chicken dip with the nacho chips. It's delicious.
Now could you do a swaparoo instead of the booze, more into the weed cannabis?
Honest to
I'm
God, I
not
don't
big on
drink
that as much as you might not believe that. I get in my own head too much. That's not for me.
I haven't had a drink since I've been down here.
What?
I don't actually drink that much. I like drinking.
You're due for a visit to the Hofbrau house. When Dino comes out, you got to take him to the German beer hall. You'll be due by then.
What date is this, Warner? When am I coming down there?
17th. Sunday, September 17th, week 2. They have the Jets week 1, I believe. It's
on the road.
James Cook against James Delvin Cook.
Mm-hmm.
And then they come home for the home opener, and Rhett said it's Vegas, which will be fun. That's a guaranteed win afternoon.
Wow.
And, Dino, like you could go watch a game in Buffalo, pick any random game off the calendar. You got a pretty interesting chance of shitty weather. This is probably one of the safest weeks of the entire season.
It's a good point.
So are you?
I think you have to do it.
Am I going to Hamilton? You're picking me up, or what do we?
I'd come pick you up.
All right.
Just remember your passport, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Back to the booze, and I know it's not very manly, but we went to an all-inclusive last week. So you have to get so much sugar in those drinks.
Yeah.
And you get sick, and it's gross. It's what are you going to drink? I started the week with I went to again, one step up, really fancy, to the Kettle One vodka and soda with lots of ice.
It's going to work for you.
Wasn't dehydrated, didn't feel like shit, wasn't hungover. You knew you'd been drinking, but not like oh my God, I feel
the sugar
awful.
just feeds the hangover, right?
The
It's like
sugar's
coal
the
in the
friggin'
fire.
worst.
Yeah. Sugar.
Yeah.
So
I'm the same, but I'll do the tequila soda lime. Dino.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And the better tequila, you can ease off the rest of that stuff.
The better
tequila,
the
just a little more
booze
lime.
with some soda, and then I guess if you need a splash of your cranberry or whatever you need to give it a little bit of whatever. But tell you what, I had about 100 of those every day. Fell asleep in the pool. I had one of those blue
in the pool.
Yeah.
That's the
Come
dicey,
on.
Dean.
Yeah. So I had. Well, hang on. I've still got it here. I haven't totally put my stuff away.
This is awesome.
This will be very similar to how it would have looked, except I don't have a tarp on, but I got sunglasses, and I've got one of those blue floaty mats. You take, I give your room number. So I've got a couple drinks in each hand, and I'm on the floaty mat with this going.
Looks like the Undertaker.
Right, so I'm kind of, the waves are going up and down, and then my head kind of tilts, and there's water starting to come onto the blue thing.
Yeah.
And I gave it the old... a whole friggin' snort full of friggin' water. So I'm trying to blow it out of my nose. I got it.
Got a beverage here.
Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. And then, of course, the big, nice ring of sunburn.
Yeah.
Here and on the back, the big halo, and then just red. Ideal.
I'm proud of you, Dean.
Thanks, buddy.
I think that spontaneous decision was one of the better ones you've made.
It really was. Yeah, it was dynamite. I recommend it to everybody. I'm not sure that Buffalo, Puerto Vallarta, not quite the same, but maybe a similar fate awaits.
And this is the year for the Bills, isn't it, Rhett? Expectations are too high last year.
Well, the only downside is Allen being on the cover of that game.
Yeah, that curse. Hasn't Mahomes broken that curse yet? He's got to. No?
I don't know. He's single this year. He's going to be awesome.
He's single.
Who are the most eligible bachelorettes in Buffalo? Is he hanging with the Pagula daughter? What's happening here? She's too busy with tennis, I bet.
She's way.
Don't date the owner's daughter.
I've heard that Buffalo girls love quarterbacks.
That's what I found. Yep.
Well, it's the most important position, Dean.
What's not to?
Person in my house sure did. So.
Time for the Pinder Report. Pinder Report brought to you by the good people at Village Honda in the Northwest Auto Mall. New stock landing every single week, as you would imagine. Huge selection of used, all makes, all models, all budgets, over 70 on site, 400 more available to them in their big old dealer group. Make Village Honda your one-stop automotive destination in Calgary. They are worth the trip. VillageHonda.com presents the Pinder Report.
Well, thank you, fellows. We start with NHL news. Did you notice, like, when Flames coaches leave, they kind of, like, many of them don't ever coach again? Like, it's like, oh, that was the last time Mike Keenan coached. That's going to be the last time Bob Hartley coached. Well, that's going to be and I think a lot of people thought it might be the last time Bill Peters coached again in the NHL, and that still may be true. But he's now a coach in the WHL, as the Lethbridge Hurricanes have hired him, his old stomping grounds, I believe. In fact, I think I met Bill back when I was at university doing a sports show, and he had moved from the Hurricanes to the University of Lethbridge Pronghorns. Interesting. The WHL statement here has a lot of words in it, but they really talked about how thorough the process was in making sure this was a good decision. And that was shortly followed up by this statement by the commissioner of the WHL, which kind of contradicted all that, it's only been 5 or 6 days and we didn't really have a chance to reach out and talk to, the people that were victims of Bill's poor decisions maybe in his career. So I'm not really entirely sure how to feel about the WHL's decision-making here. The NHL still hasn't, if I'm reading the tea leaves correctly, said that he would be welcome back in their league. But for the WHL, the Lethbridge Hurricanes said, screw the social media firestorm we're going to face for doing it. This is our guy. Interesting. Good coach, kind of, maybe. I don't know. Never won a playoff round. Something that happened a long, long time ago, but also apparently never even talked to Akeem 14 years later until a week before this job. So, and then it was through someone else anyway.
And that's the word that comes out, right? And all we can do here, as we said, is what'd you read on social media? What'd you see in the media? And it seems like Bill Peters only reached out to Akeem Alou last week.
Through someone else.
It's hard not to kind of look at that and wonder, well, if it was sincere,
there's plenty
do you
going
do
on behind the scenes. Let's not.
I mean, it's so hard to know, but that's at some point, I think people do deserve a second chance. You hope it's sincere, and you do. You hope that this is a big learning experience for everybody. Certainly, Bill at the front of the line, and that he can maybe make a difference in a positive way now moving forward.
Let's go to our boy, Frank Seravalli, Frank Baum. His reaction not necessarily as glowing as ours. He waited until his next opportunity was in hand first to do anything at all, and then attempted to use another coach to broker an apology when it's not really hard to track down Akeem at all, and it isn't. He's on social media all the time. Is there not anyone else qualified to coach? So Frank's not really buying the I'm really sorry. I'm a better man. I've learned, because if that was the case, I mean, where's the no apology till you have the job? Frank's not buying it. Let's leave it at that, huh? We've got some other NHL things. Let's start with number 15 here, Jack, if you don't mind. As we have, the Iron Man wants a job. Why wouldn't the Iron Man be able to get a job? Like, come on now. According to Elliot Friedman, Phil Kessel's ready to rock, and yeah, it's not a problem if the Iron Man streak has to end. I'll come play. You can even scratch me now and then. Where are we at on Phil Kessel? Because a year ago you were all out, Dino, and instead he went and got his third ring.
Oh, and again, I'm at the same spot. I don't know how effective he really is. Again, I could have done the same thing. I could have signed with Vegas and won a Stanley Cup ring.
I would disagree you could sign with Vegas, but yeah, he didn't really play a ton.
He didn't play a ton. His career, listen, the guy has been, I've been a fan for a long time. The guy, look at him. I mean, look at the guy.
He's a legend.
That guy's got 3 rings.
You know what needs to happen? He's got to go back to Toronto.
Oof.
Full circle.
Treliving did try to get him here last year.
Season.
Would Boston be full circle? Because they drafted him.
Somebody got hurt. You're telling me Marner can't set up Phil to finish a few?
All right, I like it.
Yeah, you let him ride shotgun one of those top 2 lines. You kidding me? Yeah. You can play with Nylander, Tavares, Matthews, or Marner. Yeah, just rip one tease. Let's go.
Dirt cheap and bringing a cup back to Toronto? Are you kidding me?
I wonder what his appetite would be, though, to go back there, because he was, as a lot of guys do, get just crushed by the fans.
He's got a house there.
Who's he going to get crushed by? He's got 3 rings.
It's over. There's no more debate.
No, I get that. I just want in his head, he's like, I've got rings.
I think he might love it. If he lives there, still goes back, I think he'd love it.
If he goes back as the 13th forward, that's an entirely different situation than having to be their highest paid player and face the media, right? Like, this is night and day stuff. He is accomplished.
I understand that. All I'm saying is we as humans, sometimes tough letting things go. If your experience was a bad one, maybe you're not too enthralled about going back, but for sure it'd be a decent fit, you would think.
Don't know his personal feelings, but I'd love to see it.
Lots of Flames free agents this coming summer. We know that, right? Like 6
Is that
big
right?
Guys. Yeah, so I just got a list here, just real quickly. Tanev, Hanifin, Shillington, Zadorov. So only like...
When did this pop up?
Like is no one talking about this?
2/3 of their decor. And they're two of their best three centermen. So as long as you don't need defenseman centermen. But they're not alone. There's a lot of free agents out there. In fact, it looks like out in Vancouver, Jim Benning's... I guess the man who's followed him into the job, not a predecessor, but what's the other word I'm looking for?
He's been gone for how long? And it's still
just a joke. It's better.
Start with Jim Benning.
This is a Jim Benning signing, Dean. You know that.
All right. Yeah,
obviously, Tyler Myers, who's playing number 5 minutes in Winnipeg, was the top 2 guy. You got to pay him, give him all the term. He, I think, is up soon. So maybe the Canucks would be shopping him midseason. Looks like they're working on the marketing already. Truck for sale, need parts.
Chester.
We'll keep moving.
I never understood the hate for Tyler Myers.
I'm sure he's lovely, and he's the best Tyler Myers he can be. It was the notion that he was a top pair $7 million defenseman that was a little silly. Played third pair in Winnipeg. It's great at it.
Mm-hmm. Deep decor at a time.
It was. They had Big Buff the stuff. They had Trouba. They had Morrissey. It was a good crew.
He's so tall.
And Sherratt, too. They had Sherratt.
Good reach.
He's from
very long.
Winton.
Can you teach that height, guys? Can you teach that?
You can't teach that, Ryan.
Okay, thank you. You know what we're learning? Europe's going to have some fun with some new rules. Now, the IIHF is the governing body of hockey, and in Europe, they do Champions League. So if you win the Austrian League and someone else wins the Swedish League, and this guy over here wins in the UK, and this guy here wins in Germany, you can all play in a tournament. It's like footy Champions League. And for that tournament, which does pretty well over there for hockey fans, they've made a crazy rule change that I think a lot of people like. If you score a goal while shorthanded, the penalty, over. If it's a minor, not a major. And it's a little tweak, and I love it. How about an aggressive PK? You like that one, Retro, or is that why are we trying to reinvent the wheel here? How do you feel?
I don't mind that. There's a lot of rules out there that make no sense. And this,
because a lot of times the tweak you hear about special teams will be if you score on your power play, that the power play continues until the 2 minutes is over.
Yeah.
This would be the other side of that.
I wouldn't mind putting them both in, to be fair.
It would definitely penalize the team that's getting scored on. You give up a goal and you lose your power play. It's a double kick in the nuts.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought that was an interesting twist. Out of hockey, NFL season almost upon us, fellows. I have my first fantasy draft tonight. Very excited. I've been doing mock drafts all day. I'm a huge loser. It's very exciting. We have one preseason game left for most of these teams, and then the NFL will kick off on the 7th of September with the Lions and the Chiefs. And as part of the process of training camp and getting close to the season, teams will announce their captains. You know, you see the C on the chest in the offense, defense, maybe a special teams one. So if there's a coin toss at overtime, one will come out. Or you could do what the New York Giants did, which is, let's see what they, oh my God, there's 10 captains. What's going on?
This is what Conroy's doing.
This is what Conroy's doing, yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, will Huska and Connie take notes here? Can you have 10 captains in the NHL?
You have so much leadership, Ryan. What do?
You make 10 captains.
Yeah.
You got Danny Dimes in there. You got Saquon Barkley in there. I think there's a kicker at the back. What are we doing here?
Some teams would say we don't need a captain because we have so much leadership.
Yeah.
Much like this would be the other way. So many leaders, everyone gets a letter.
Yeah, I mean, geez, really, who isn't a captain? That seems like they're insulting a few of their own players here. That's
Darren
tough.
Waller's never played a game for them.
Captain.
Yeah, I like that.
So what's he like to deal with in the regular? We've never had him for captain.
Yeah, I have no idea what he's like. I haven't seen him yet, but he'll be the one of the 10 guys with a C in his chest.
I heard some good stories. Captain,
easy to pick him out. So did you have your draft, or you're having your draft?
No, tonight. I believe first pick's going to go around 6 p.m. It's usually on a weekend. We've got a couple that is in the league, husband and wife, that They're gallivanting around the world. They would not be available. It's totally screwed up draft timing. So we got like a 6 o'clock start tonight.
Do
you know where you pick?
Couples.
Yeah, I picked two.
Ooh.
Which it's a keeper league, so it's not like your normal one, but I will get an elite running back. It'll be like a McCaffrey, Eckler, Bijan Robinson, Nick Chubb type guy that's sitting there too for me, which is exactly what the doctor needs here. Light on running backs. So I know you were very excited about that. Dean, we haven't closed the door on you returning to the Media Hacks Fantasy Football.
Are you out?
He was in a sour mood. I could feel it.
I had a problem.
Because you got so much on your plate.
No.
That it upsets you too much.
I should have taken maybe a beat or two before I responded. I had a problem with the commissioner of the league arbitrarily throwing out a fine, a $50 fine, essentially. To get in, it's $100 plus a $50 fine, which seems high.
The fine
if
for
you
what?
don't go to a location within 6 blocks of Pinder's house to attend the draft live.
A central location in the city of Calgary. That's where
Right.
we're holding it, so that all can attend from all parts of the city with equal ease. Yes.
Not sure. Is everyone from around the city? Do I have to pay this?
Some people are quibbling with this. In fact, Ben
New
here
wrinkle
suggesting they will
in the email. New wrinkle, very exciting. If you don't come to the draft night live, $50.
Well, and it was phrased wrong because it was 150 last year in the league, which is a reasonable number. It's not crazy. We're media people. We aren't oil sheiks. And so 150 would still be the rate this year, although there is a $50 discount if you're going to draft in person.
Oh, is that how it goes? Okay. Yeah. It just felt like that was a sizable tag for
$50. You could pay someone to go and still be.
Yes,
ahead.
you absolutely could. Someone would go for free to run the Boomcats or the Big Calves or whatever we called your team. The Barn.
Would it pay for my DUI though on the way home after?
No, send someone else. They can deal.
Christ.
So this is the challenge we're facing: is that the draft was a great collection of people that we all worked with, and it was like a nice time to see everyone. A lot of people are not doing where we all used to work, and we're in different spots, and so it's nice to see people's faces and get in the same room. And it just kept dwindling and dwindling and dwindling until there's like 4 of us last year. I'm like, this is like the biggest part of one of the big parts of fantasy football is like getting these guys together. Like when you watch the league, it's the camaraderie, being in the same room, the chirps, the bets that happen. We were missing that. And so I'm trying to incent people to get their asses into the room where the draft picks are being made. And there's been some pushback from, the defending champion, yourself, Mouthy DeForest. There's been some pushback.
Rhett won't be there.
I don't think Rhett's going to be worried about the missing the attendance discount, but maybe he will.
It seems like
I could revisit this, but I still don't want 4 people to show up. You can see the conundrum I'm in here, right? And we have about 10 that said they're going to be there now. How many will just say, screw it, I'm sitting on my couch if there's no.
Some people have things in their lives, though. It's like kids and sporting events and tryouts.
How many? There's another question. How many drafts are you attending personally, Pinder?
2. And that's the most I can do. I want to give it my all. I feel like I tried 3 one year. I'm like, this is too much. No.
Got to give it his all.
Yeah, give it his all. So that's where
just find like you forget about waivers in one league, and you're like, I didn't see that guy. It's just I couldn't stay on top of the 3rd league.
What's the time change in Italy? Like, are you going to be able to pay attention? Watch?
You got to set your lineup Saturday night. Wait, no, that's not true. If you wake up early on Monday, you might catch the afternoon games. That thing, or I'm twisted around. Yeah.
This is what people really like is when guys talk about their. So anyway, that's the clarity.
So what if it's 25, Dean? Because you'd spend at least 25 there.
You know what? If it was $150 to get in, and it's like, hey, we'd love to see you at the draft.
Yeah.
And if that satisfies, and if it's like, actually, it's $100, and I just fucked him for $50, then I would not have said anything. But it was hey, why don't you come to a pub next door to my house and get pissed and then find your own way home, Jack, while I walk home. It works for me. $50 if you don't make it.
I could do those scooters too. They're really close.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, you know what? We got a great pub just here at the corner. I could talk to them. They'd probably love to host us. Maybe get
Dean, when you win the league this year, you
Deal on
can
wings.
absolutely host the draft there next year. I think it's a great idea. 125?
Mandros.
pretty arbitrary.
120.
Pretty just, hey, guys, new wrinkle.
Well, it's a commission, man. You can't win. You can only lose.
Is that how it goes?
Trying to get people together and now ruining everyone's lives. Are we revisiting? Where are we at here?
I'm in. I just that the $50.
Okay, so we'll find a way to massage the wrinkle here, but maybe what we do is I find a way to reward the people that did show up in attendance.
I think
those that aren't in attendance.
I think it would have been, hey guys, attendance has really been down. Let's make a concerted effort. Who can make it? What can we do to make this easy for everyone? As opposed to, it'll be in the belt line, new wrinkle, $50, zing, send.
That's fair. And okay. So I'll put Boom back in the chat then. I kicked him out right there. So,
Oh, quickly too.
well, after I said, "What, are you sure?" And he's like, rah, 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 rah. I don't want to read this. You were a little gruff, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm done with this then.
I was full of Kettle One vodkas at the time, Ryan.
I was wondering. I'm like, how sober is he and where is he? Okay, we'll go to NFL news. This might be a guy, Dean Drafts. Hopefully not too early. TJ Hawkinson's getting paid. The tight end who did that weird divisional rival swap. Remember when he went from the Lions to the Vikings? And now highest paid tight end in football, which sounds like, wow, that's crazy impressive. Except that every year we have a new highest paid to every position because the NFL, unlike other leagues we watch, just grows at a rapid rate and there's always more money every goddamn year. It's a lot of dough.
Kelsey's a bargain, isn't he?
Seems. What about your big Lugan playing football? You show him these tight end salaries. Tell them to play O-line. They make more than this.
He was tight ending it the other day.
Okay.
What?
How is he at tight ending it?
Who taught him that? Okay.
So tight.
We'll move. Let's go to Major League Baseball, boys.
That's what Rob. Listen. Talk to Razor. I don't know what that is.
Robert's got a better. I don't know how this Buffalo football thing works. You want a silver lining for the shitty Angels who are no good. Why is no one talking about trading Mike Trout? Think about what could happen. They're going to be so bad, boys. Shohei's gone. How did you not make the playoffs with these two guys, the two best players in the sport? Maybe certainly two Hall of Famers, maybe the greatest player of all time. You can't do anything. Trade the poor guy. Was he from Jersey or something?
Hey, Pinder.
Yo.
Look in the waiting room.
I see. We're going to wrap this
How
real quick.
about that?
We got two things left.
Look at this. Oh, yeah.
Hockey season is nearly upon us. Kids were dropped at school this morning. It is pumpkin spice season. Somebody asked AI to create a picture of pumpkin spice. Here's what the AI came up with, right? You're going to like this. That looks like everyone's wife, doesn't it? Yeah. We love pumpkin spice. And finally, I don't know that this is Aussie Brad or not, but someone in Australia got hot and was dropping C-bombs like it was no thing at all at a traffic light. Let's take a peek.
You got something to say?
Yeah, go on. Yeah, go on.
Go ahead.
Hey, big boy. Yeah, it's all filming, eh?
Yeah.
You fucking start running to me, then you start filming.
You were
You
carrying
fuck.
on. You were
fuck.
carrying on.
You fuck.
Get your hand under my face in my car.
Fuck you. Get out the car and throw some punches. Come on, cut. I'm 50-year-old man, come on. And I'll knock the fuck out of you.
All right.
Knock the living fucking Christ out of you.
Yeah.
You fat cunt. Get out of the fucking gym.
Touch me again. That's
You
all.
fucking
That's assault.
mate. Come on, motherfucker. Get out the car.
You need to relax. Get back
Ah! Don't tell me to relax when you need to fucking start. You fat cunt.
in your car. All right.
Fucking dog. Fat
So-
cunt.
Just
Were the kids beside him?
Yeah.
we're turning some heads there. And good to
That
see
was-
Aussie Brad's doing well. So
That was me after I read the fucking draft email. $50.
There it is. We got a guest to get to. That's your Pinder Report.
Awesome. The Pinder Report is brought to you by Village Honda. Used, new, all makes, all models, worth the trip. They are your dealership for life in the Northwest Auto Mall. Visit them online at villagehonda.com or head up there and take a look-see yourself. Village Honda, proud presenters of the Pinder Report. So now you have a thing, right?
I will say hello to our guest, and then I am on the move.
All right.
A medical appointment beckons, if that makes sense in English. Yeah.
As long as it's not an emergency.
No emergency.
Our next guest. He is he's one of the most beloved teammates of all time. He is an author. He is a broadcaster. He is a former NHLer. And is joining us from New York City, the Big Apple, Jamie McLennan. Look at Noodles. There he is, buddy. How are we?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Well, pretty good. We weren't sure if we were going to get you. We were worried that you were going to get.
I was.
Yeah.
Can you see I'm like sweating? I've got a towel here. I'm like just ran up to my hotel room, toweling off.
Well, it's hot and humid in New York. How was the travel day? They delay and everything always?
and not bad. I live in Toronto, right? So it's a 50-minute flight, but I'm laying in bed last night, I swear to God, 11:20, and I was supposed to be on an 8 a.m. flight this morning, and I get this notification saying, your flight's just canceled. We're going to put you on a different one. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm only going down here for 24 hours, so let's figure this out. And then I ended up getting on a different one. I was supposed to fly into New York, New Jersey, and then they put me into LaGuardia, and then LaGuardia was delayed this morning, but it is what it is. I'm here. I'm going to be here for less than 24 hours. I'm going to visit some friends who are performing in Jersey tonight. So I'm going to go down there, catch the concert, and have a few drinks, and then fly back tomorrow morning. And luckily, I won't be flying the plane because I probably won't be able to.
There you go.
That sounds like a good night. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I thought maybe is this Chris Drury got an interview with you or something?
No, he flushes my calls, that guy. I mean, I don't know, Retro, if you reach out to him. I ran into him when I was calling a game this year, and we had a good catch up, and then we text a little bit, and then he's gone dark. Like I'm on the pay no mind the pigeon list again. So I think it'll be another 5 years before I catch up with him.
Yeah, no, Drury doesn't like me because I got him traded to Buffalo. Although he wanted out of Calgary, but
he sure did.
Buffalo was on his list.
Yeah. And then really wanted out of Buffalo,
you guys
too.
Remember this? Do you remember when he got traded? I laugh about this all the time. I don't know if you guys remember this, but when Drury got
traded from Colorado to Calgary, he was on the front cover of like the Calgary Sun, and they had superimposed a jersey on his face, kind of holding it. And it looked like he was had been crying. Like it looked like he was so devastated. And I to this day still tease him about that. I'm like, here, hold this jersey and try and smile. You're going to Calgary. Good luck. But he ended up, Retro, I don't know. You loved him. I loved him as a player. He was unbelievable, and he's a good guy. And he brought Stefan Yell, the sandbox, with him. So that was awesome. That was a good trade for us.
And then when he came to Buffalo, I was in Calgary with you, but that team they had here in Buffalo, they won the Presidents. They played fast and high skilled coming out of that lockout. They were unbelievable, that line. And then they wouldn't pay him and keep him around. Him and Briere and McKee and guys start leaving. It's sad to think that they had that good a lineup here in Buffalo, and then they just let him go.
Yeah, it happens.
You know how the business of, a lot of times when you're behind the curtain, you see how things work. The general manager
may want to do something, and the owner goes, no, we're not having that. We're not paying that amount. We're not doing this. Or there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen behind the curtain in at the NHL. All pro sports. So who knows? But
kind of
he's a good GM.
Kind of like that Iginla guy. He's in there mixing drinks.
I don't know what's going to happen there, but I think it's funny when Iggy joined the organization in his role. I don't know how many texts I got from former teammates that guys like Robin reaching out. I think you and I text, but it's just like those two are back together now. So it'll be interesting to see. They will have. I guarantee you the one thing: they're both passionate hockey guys, smart hockey men. But they will have spirited debates over everything, because those two used to argue about crossword puzzles in the dressing room. I can't imagine them, running an organization and arguing about it. I think it'll be awesome.
They'll be in the room at the Dome, just battling back and forth, not wanting to give an inch either way, just debating. Like, it'll be insane.
I was talking to
Connie's got the hammer, though. Connie's got the hammer now, though. He's the guy, right?
Yeah, I was talking to Conroy at a charity event about a month and a half ago. And I says, how's it going? It's so Iggy, hey, you guys. Well, Jerome's already in here. Oh, we got to do this and we got to do that. It's like, well, yeah, okay, Jerome, but it's not just as easy as that. We got to talk to some. So yeah, it probably took all of about 15 minutes for those two to be right into it again.
Yeah, right back to the
04-05 yelling and screaming and passion and all of that. But I think it's good. Honestly, the more smart, passionate people you can have in your organization, I think it's the right move. Connie's a guy who's put in his time. That's the one thing that always bothered me. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but I look at other people throughout the league. They get named GMs, and I'm sure they're qualified, but I was like, Connie's put in the time. This guy literally, all he does was travel and take care of everything. As an AGM, he put in a lot of and learning the craft. And I'm happy for him. I'm happy that Calgary gave him the opportunity. And I think he'll run with it. I think he's going to do a really good job.
What's funny about those two is you can see Jerome being that way. But for Craig, you just feel like he'd be, shucks, okay, whatever, that those two butted heads like they did, and no doubt will continue to. They love each other. They're, best friends or whatever. But you just think Conroy would eventually just kind of back down. But good on him. He was in there toe-to-toe with Jerome all the time.
And you know what the thing
is people that don't know Connie, like he comes off, and doesn't come off. He's affable. He's likable. He's a big personality. But he's got a very competitive, and we'll call it like a mean streak, a mean side. Now, we haven't really seen it as a manager, but he's going to have to flex his muscle at some point with players, with agents, with parents that intervene, you name it. He's going to have to draw a line in the sand and say, yes, I am a good guy. I'm well-spoken. Yes, I like to, have a laugh here or there. But at the end of the day, he's going to have to make some very tough decisions as a manager. And, that's what's going to define him. And I don't think he's going to have a problem doing it. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised if you are looking for that, how Connie's going to be able to be very strong in certain situations to stand up for himself and the organization.
What are your thoughts on the team right now? I mean, he's been put in a tough situation, I think, to deal with. He's got a lot on his plate. You don't want to make any rash decisions. What's your thoughts on the team as a whole? And do you think any ideas as to what you think he's going to do or go about it?
Well, the only thing,
I don't think they can blow it up right now. So I'm going to give you a quick synopsis. I don't think they can blow it up because there's too many pieces and long-term deals that you'd have to move out. And I don't think you get value for those players. You could get value for one or two of them, but if you were going to blow it up and go, hey, Markstrom, Kadri, Lindholm, all of these guys, all available, and then you Huberdeau available, I don't think you could do it. So I'll say this is maybe a poor prediction because I'm not great with predictions, but I think the Flames are going to have a good season just based on how bad it was last year. Every one of their players that you expected good things out of didn't have a good season. Kadri didn't have a good season. Huberdeau was terrible. We saw that with the point production. Lindholm had a drop off. Rasmus Anderson gets hit by a car. Markstrom was not honest to God, you just had you couldn't pull one guy off that roster and go, and that guy's been brilliant every night. So if you look at it, you have a long summer of working out, getting your head right. We'll call it an organization change. I think just through osmosis, that group's going to be better. Now, I don't know what that means because are they going to be able to play with the guys up the road? Because those, McDavid and Draisaitl aren't going anywhere, in the next couple of years, we'll call it. So, and I think Edmonton's gotten better through some of the growth of some of their young players. I think Bouchard has a chance to be a really good player if the light can go on for him. Offensively, it can. Defensively, I don't know if he's – Rhett, you would be able to speak to it more, but – he's lost a little bit. But at the end of the day, I look at Calgary's team, and I think they'll be a better team just through, hey, what if Huberdeau comes back to a 90-point pace? What if Lindholm's a 35-goal scorer? And, again, they've got to deal with contracts. So you got to deal with Hanifin. You got to deal with Lindholm. You got to deal with Backlund. So, yeah. I think they're going to be they're going to be a better team, but I don't know what that means and how it translates against your competition around you.
One of the things that's interesting, you from playing, those guys that are in contract years tend to perform quite well, and they got a lot of it.
Yeah, I was always scared to death every year of my career, but I always felt like it was a contract year because I was fighting for my life. I can't imagine, you got a guy, like I said, Backlund is Rhett, him. He's a quality human, man. He's really turned into like a captain type of just a solid citizen. I hope if he wants to stay, they work something out that works for both sides. Lindholm, I don't know what the number is. it's so weird watching some of these free agents throughout the league, the Timo Meyers and Willie Nylander in Toronto, what he allegedly wants. And, so where do these guys fall? And at Lindholm being 30 years old, does he want an 8-year deal? Now are you in a tough situation to give him a big number for, on term and contract? So, and Hanifin, same situation. Like, what's his price point? And, do you have young guys that are pushing through it? It sounds like Shillington's going to come back. I think he's a guy who's got some good upside. So if you look at it, there's some big decisions, to your point, that Connie's got to make here coming around the corner. And they're going to be hard ones that may not be the most popular.
You talk about Conroy kind of having to dig his heels in and have, I don't think people are really worried about it, but to kind of show that he's going to be stern. I wonder if the fact that we saw the Toffoli deal happen before the draft and nothing since. I wonder if that is Conroy being stern, that there's probably been a number of really awful trade offers or trades that just weren't going to make sense. The pressure to do something is always so intense for GMs and a hockey market even more so. And knowing that these guys can walk for nothing after Gaudreau did, and we saw how all that played out, I wonder if this is Conroy showing that backbone by not just taking a bad deal just to get something for these guys instead of losing them.
I think it's a great point, because I do believe that. You don't trade people just for the sake of trading people. Like, you're not doing them a favor. You've got to do your organization a favor. And keep in mind, Rhett, you just pointed out, like, in a contract year, these guys are playing for their, future, their financial future and all of that. So you look at a guy like Toffoli, who is now north of 30. He's not the fastest player in the world. I'm going to remind me, it's Sharon Povich. Is that his name? Like, I just butcher him.
Yeah, Maria Sharapova.
Yeah, exactly. Sure.
Yeah, no,
but
Sharon Govich.
Sharon Govich. So
he scored 25 or 26 a couple years ago, played mostly 5-on-5. So if you look at it, I thought that was a really shrewd move. You get younger, you get faster because he can play on the penalty kill. If you give him some power play minutes, maybe he develops some chemistry with a guy like Huberdeau or Kadri or Lindholm or somebody. Like, you got younger, faster, and a little bit more dynamic with one trade. Now, I know Tyler Toffoli, playoff winner, great human, all of that stuff. But, that was a shrewd move by Craig Conroy, because I don't know if it was the most popular move in the world, but he made it. And I'd almost sent it a wave saying, okay, this guy means business. If you don't want to be here, I'll find a spot for you, but I'll do it on my time. So, coming back to that, I think there will be a timetable. Obviously, he's not going to let anybody walk. So he'll have to, no matter where, if something doesn't get sorted out with these three players we were talking about, at some point, he's going to have to make the hard decision where Calgary could be in a President's Trophy race, and he's going to have to make decisions on these players. But at the end of the day, you've got to let that sort out, and you got to get value, or you got to get what you want out of it, not just the player. And we see a lot of players holding teams hostage these days. I don't know how that pendulum's going to swing, but Connie's got his work cut out for him on that.
As you can imagine, we love talking Toronto, or people love that we talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs here in Calgary and out west. They just they can't get enough of it. But I did want to ask you, with Austin Matthews signing the deal, and I guess the contract value we can talk about, but let's go back a year ago. A lot of people were saying he's not signing. Why would he sign? He can go wherever he wants. He can get all the money wherever he wants to go. Did you think he would re-sign a year ago?
Honestly, if I'm being honest, I would say yes. But in the back of my mind, what it was in the back of my mind? Two things. Okay, yes, he's an American kid who grew up in Arizona, so I don't know if he really has those like deep roots into the city of Toronto or into the country of Canada. And secondly, you looked at LA's salary structure with Kopitar coming up. It just seemed like an easy fit. And, you add in, and I know I'm actually joking, but not joking. Like, you look at his friend, like he's best friends with a guy like Justin Bieber. So, people are in his ear going, hey, you can play in LA, you can play here, you can, and he's a big market guy. Like, I think Austin Matthews is really good at handling the pressure and kind of just, playing his game and not getting too distracted by a lot of the loud noise. But in the heart of hearts, I think he's a lot like McDavid. I think he's a lot like McKinnon and guys. They started a job and they want to finish it somehow with their respected organizations. And I think Austin's got they got a good team there. Edmonton's got a good team. McKinnon, in Colorado, they got it done. I think a lot of these top end players, with their first team, they want to have that success, and they've got the luxury of time. You can always ask for a trade. You can always ask to be moved at some point. I think he put 13.25 in his jeans for the next 4 years after this year, and I think it'll work out for both sides.
Does he take a beating in the media and by the fans there? Because I feel like that's Marner territory. There's other guys who have taken that, and I guess when you score at the rate that he does, you never struggle for any amount of time, so it's harder to shit on a guy when he's playing so well. But it feels like he's the highest paid, he's the star, but it's also kind of above all of that kind of vitriol that a lot of guys hate about playing in Toronto.
Yeah, you're right. Marner, the local guy, takes a lot of heat, even though he had 99 points last year. Tavares is 11 million. That is a focal point. Nylander, his effort levels sometimes. Like I joke that Nylander, Nylander is like the prime minister. It's just like there's people that are on one side or the other. There's no in between. Like it's just this guy. He can do no wrong or he can do no right, depending on who you talk to. But Matthews, to your point, I think he's above all of that. Yes, he gets criticism. And the criticism now is just for that whole group as they've been together for 7 years and they've got one playoff round win. So that's a legit criticism. But if you look at Matthews and Marner and Nylander and Tavares, that group, they've been 110 points or north of that in the regular season. Matthews has won a Hart. He's won, the Rocket Richard twice. Like, there's not much to criticize in the regular season. What happens is during the regular season for 6 months, they're the greatest team on this planet. And then in the playoffs, when they haven't had success, it's literally like, oh, well, other teams are really good too. They're allowed to be good. And then when they lose out, people say, we're done with them. We're done with them. And guess what? Right now, when I go back to work on September 5th, they'll be the greatest team again on this planet until they prove it in April. So that's just kind of how the cycle works in Toronto. But eventually, and that's the argument, is eventually they got to break through. Well, that's up to the players. That's not Brad Treliving. He can't go and strap the pads on or score goals or do whatever. He's got to put the best team he puts on the ice, and those guys got to go and earn it. But getting back to your original point, I think Matthews doesn't get a lot of criticism because there's not much to criticize. He has been an unbelievable player for many years.
I wanted to bring it back. I guess it's been weeks now. We wanted to reach out and just didn't work out schedule-wise, but Mika Kiprasov's numbers going up to the rafters here at the Dome this year. I guess you've got to be coming back for that event, I would guess, depending on what you're doing. But you were riding shotgun with that guy for the best days. That's the reason why he's going up. You were there for most, if not all of it. What your thoughts on Kipper? No one knows what to expect that night. But I guess just thoughts in general on Kipper getting his number retired.
Yeah, I was a floater that just hung on his coattails, but it was great. I mean, honestly, talking to Kip when the Flames broke the news to him, like I will say, and knowing him, and I'm one of the guys who I would say I'm fortunate enough to stay in touch with him because we all know he's a very private person and doesn't return a lot of calls or texts, if any. But you know what? Like him and I we stay in touch maybe once every 6 weeks, 2 months, a funny text here or a picture or something going on in the news. He'll clip it and send it. But I was very proud. I am completely biased. I think he's a Hall of Famer because like you look at the goalies I played with, Ron Hextall, Roman Turek, Grant Fear, Roberto Luongo, Mika Kiprasov, like some of the best that played. I think Kipper's one of them. Like I really believe he's one of the greatest goaltenders who ever played the game. Again, fully biased because I saw him work every day and I saw him play 70 games plus for 7 years in a row, which is insane, absolutely insane when you've got a 32 VO2. But honest to God, I am coming back. I've booked off work. I'm very proud to be a part of what is going to go on. And I'm very curious to see how it's going to unfold because he's such a humble guy. I know he's very proud to see his boys witness that because they were very young. One wasn't born, I think, or one was just being born, Oscar, and Aro was around, but just a young boy. So I think for his sons to see how big of a legend that is, it's pretty special. So I'm very excited for him. And I am definitely going to bring a lot of Gatorade to Calgary that weekend because I think there'll be a lot of festivities going on that weekend with a lot of the boys, including our boy Retro here.
He is one of the best. I played with Beezer in Florida, and Hasek in Buffalo, and Kipper. And I mean, all three of them kept me in the league. And I was as comfortable with Kipper as any goalie of those other two goalies. And I don't know, did they put Beezer in the Hall of Fame or not? I can't even remember, but Dom for sure.
Not, but he should be. Like you did, you're lucky. You played with some great goalies.
Oh.
And I think what we're seeing is the Hall of Fame is starting to recognize that not enough goalies they've been overshadowed.
Yeah.
But now there's 3 going in this year, with Barrasso, Vernon, and who's the Lundqvist. And honestly, like I swear, if you look at the wins since Kipper came into the league, if you look at who won games, it's like Kiprusoff, Lundqvist, Luongo, like Hall of Famers and him. Like it's pretty special. So again, I don't know if he'll ever make it, but he was that special of a goaltender. And you're right, Retro. He made everybody better.
So Rhett, obviously, you're right. You were here when Kipper came in. Jamie, you came in afterwards. He had already been here. I guess when you talk about the great goalies that you played.
No, he was there.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, it was the year before. Yeah,
I was the reason why Daryl.
That's right. The Sternum.
I was the reason Daryl went and got Kipper because I had Roman was hurt and I was hurt, but I wasn't good enough to be the starter. So Daryl grabbed Kipper, and then Kipper and I played together until Roman got healthy, and then Daryl traded me for Simon. But Kipper was unbelievable that first year, but I remember his first game. It was a dud. He gave up like 6 or 7 goals. We went for a drink afterwards, and he's like, what the hell was going on out there? We were kind of chuckling, and then after that, he just took off and was the best goalie in the league. But yeah, I was in Calgary for 2 tours of duty with him, and unbelievable.
Yeah, because Rhett talks about it took him all of maybe one practice or one game to kind of realize, ooh, this guy's pretty good. You talk about the things that made him great. From a goalie's perspective, you'd be looking at different things. Obviously, as fans, we'd look, oh, he made big saves in a game. What were some of the things that led to him, whether it's practice, off ice? You mentioned the VO2, it wasn't that, but just what was it about Kipper that made him so great?
It wasn't practice either, I'll tell you that. But he was, honestly, a couple things. His flexibility, and I'm not lying, Retro can speak to this. He used to stretch for hours a day. Like literally, we would have morning skate, he'd come off early, he'd stretch, you'd go, shower, ice, you name it, have meetings, come back, he'd still be in the gym stretching. Like he was a fiend when it came to stretching because he knew what his body took to be ready that night. And the other thing is mentally. He was the most mentally tough athlete I have ever played with as far as being able to identify the situation because, he plays kind of like I'm the Finnish guy laid back and that. He was really smart and is to this day very highly intelligent. So he could read plays. And I remember when I retired and became, the goaltending coach there, we would talk and he could tell you the plays developing as the play was coming towards you. He'd know the options. He'd know what he needed to do to give himself the best chance to make that save. Intelligent goaltender. And then you throw in the flexibility, the feet. He had great feet. The durability. He played hurt or sick or you name it. He was able to play 70 games. And he had a great glove hand as well. So he had just all the tools to be this elite goaltender. and then you got that temperament where just nothing bothers him. It was almost like a perfect goaltender in that era. Now he's only 6'1". In today's world, you got to be 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" type of thing. But he was the perfect goaltender if you looked at a lot of the attributes.
Didn't he spend a lot of time? I mean, everyone think, well, he'd love to have fun, and he did. But on the road, he would cave it up in his hotel room. And I never knew, but I thought I heard rumors were always abound that he'd sit and watch video of the other teams and their shooters and all that stuff, like spend hours studying the other team.
You know what? He did, and you're right. On the road, he always caved it up. Yeah. Like he wasn't out, or once in a while here or there would go for, go somewhere a little bit here or there. But for the most part, he never ever on the road did anything. And it's not spending hours, but again, he was always aware of what was going on in the league. So before technology has caught up, nowadays it's RinkNet, and you can go on these. SportLogic has the pre-scout where you can punch in a guy's shift. You see on the bench now, guys look at their shifts on the iPad. Well, as a goalie coach, I used to have to clip those, and I would clip pre-scout plays and go, okay, this is what they're doing on the power play. This is what their top player, player X is doing on a shootout, all of that. And he would say, and I would go to him sometimes the morning of a game and go, I've got a video for you. And he would go, no, I'm good. Like, I know that team. And he had already pre-scouted them himself. And then there was other times where he's like, I need to know this. Like, figure, what are they doing on their power play? Where's the shot coming from? What are the tendencies of that top player? So he was always like an encyclopedia of knowledge, but the way he went about it was unique because it wasn't, in your face. You see a lot of times now, everybody wants the camera on me. Hey, come look what I'm doing. I'm working out. I'm Instagram working out. I'm doing all these things. He was the other way. He's like, I don't want anybody to know what I'm doing. I want people to think I'm sleeping in the corner there. And then I just show up and dominate. Like that's what he was like. And like I say, he was just he was a brilliant hockey mind, but he hit it kind of behind this, like, hey, I've got a dip, nothing's bothering me. I'm cool, man. But it was like, this guy knew everything about everybody. It was pretty impressive.
So what's your role there? You're a big part of Mika Kiprusoff, and I don't mean that to sound like a shot, but it's kind of like when a pitcher's got a no-hitter. No one talks to him, you just leave him be. Whether he's playing well or playing not well, he's playing poorly, maybe he's losing some. You've always been a kindred spirit to the guy you've been playing with. How do you interact with Kip? Or do you just kind of give him that room, or do you kind of get in behind that shield and work with him a little bit? Or what was that like, I guess?
Well, I think I've always felt like coaching is about relationships. Anybody can do X's and O's, like, especially nowadays. Like, God, you can have, and these video guys are amazing. They can cue up anything, different angles. You can, draw on the screen, show, anything you want. But it's all about the trust and the relationship. And I think that's the only thing that maybe gave me more of an in as a goalie coach with Kipper and Curtis McElhenny and Vesa Toskala, as opposed to somebody else, was like, I'd been in his shoes. Yes, I played, but I played with him. I knew his psyche. I knew what made him tick. And he trusted me because he knew, a lot of times a goalie coach, you're the goalie coach, and then the two goalies in the room are the only ones in the organization that really understand the position, unless there's other people that have played it. So I always felt like you're constantly fighting because, I'll never forget. I laugh about this. I'm trying to remember his name. Is it Raymond? What was the Raymond kid from Vancouver?
Mason
Raymond. So I'm sitting there, and Kipper's out to lunch this night. I was like, he's just having a rough night. It's our first period, so I'm sitting up in the press box with Rob Cookson and myself, and I used to chart all the chances, shots, and Mason Raymond goes to dump it in from center ice, and I'm watching Kipper like he's not even watching the play, like he's looking. I don't know what he's looking at, like Depot on the bench or something, and it goes in the net, and like Kipper reacts like, honest to God, like 2 seconds after, I'm like, oh my God, like And I can just see at the time, Sutter's head's going to blow right off his body. And, Dave Lowry's on the headset going like, what do we do with this guy? And I'm like, I think we got to pull him. But let's see if he can battle out type of thing. And after the first period, I came down and I just stuck my head in the room and looked at him. And he was like, it almost like he wanted to laugh, but he's like, I can't laugh. Like, I just allowed this goal from center ice. And it's like a switch went on, and he's like, okay, I gotta dig out here. And sure enough, he settled into the game. That was it. But he just had this ability. So a lot of it was relationship based. And then there were things where he was like, hey, I'm, some technical stuff. Like I'm getting, you could stats don't lie. You're getting scored on from here or whatever. So we're going to do some drills. We're going to design some drills where you're a little bit more comfortable sealing the post or pushing off the post, like the technical stuff. But a lot of it was the relationship and managing the personality and the person, and just having that like friendship going, like, I got your back, buddy. Like, you can light the house on fire. I'm there with you. So I think that's what was kind of special about our friendship. But in the end, like, I still had a lot of work to do as a goalie coach. Like I look back on it and I was still learning myself, but I think that the one strength that I had was I had a close relationship with both of my goalies, where I think they trusted me, and then I could give them as much information. I was their eyes and ears type of thing.
And Retro, we've talked about it. Did he have 1 year left on his deal when he quit? Because his relationship here with Hartley was not good. There was a deal that could have sent him to Toronto. He nixed that. You talk about Hall of Fame. I wonder how many more years he could have played at a high level.
If he was happy and enjoying it, he'd have played for as long as he could have played a long time. But he stopped enjoying it, the fun, because that was the thing for him. He worked his ass off, as Noodles has just alluded to, but he loved it. But he wanted guys to he wanted everyone to be enjoying it, right? He didn't like it when guys weren't enjoying being at the rink. That drove him nuts.
Yeah. They didn't have success that year. And I know people talk about that last year on his deal was a throwaway. I think it dropped from $7 million to $1 or something like that. Yeah. So, but there were teams, I know this for a fact, and I'm not going to speak out of turn, but it's just, there were teams that wanted to trade for him at the deadline and extend his deal immediately and just put money in his pocket. And he was like, I remember him saying to me, he's like, I don't, and I respect this a ton. It's like, I don't know if I'm in it right now, my head, and I don't want to take a bunch of money from another organization or play if I don't feel like I could do the job. And I was really like taken back by that, because you've got people that are lining up to hand you money, and you're like, no, I got to make sure that I'm in the right headspace, and I'm not. I'm paraphrasing because he didn't tell me that, but I've just kind of got that sense. And to me, that was the toughest part. But he retired the way that we all expected Kipper to retire. He's just like, yeah, see you later. Like, yeah, I'll do the year-end meeting here. I'll be out in 10 minutes. And then he tells Peter Hanlon, I'll be out in 10 minutes. And then he walks out the back door and nobody sees him for years. Like, I don't even know if he did a year-end presser. Like, he just left. Like, that's Kipper in a nutshell. But I do think he could have played 5 more years with how talented he was and how he did take care of his body from a flexibility standpoint, from the, he was just vigilant, taking care of his body. So that does make me sad, because he probably could have made, not that he needed money, but probably could have made another 30, 40 million. Who knows?
Wow. All the money, but and alleviate any issues as to Hall of Fame talk. Right? Like, if he plays 5 more years, he's going to have the numbers that support Hall of Fame immediately. Like, there's no question about it.
Agreed. Like, I never thought about that. Legacy is a big thing. Now we talk about it all the time. I don't know if you guys talk about it. Like, listen, I didn't have a Hall of Fame career. I had a long career, but I was proud of it. But it just, at the end of the day, your legacy is how people remember you, how you develop friendships in this game, all of the things that I think I take a lot of pride in. And I look back on it, Kipper's legacy is that I think he's one of the greatest goaltenders who ever played. But it just, to Retro's point, if he would have played another 5 years, we're talking slam dunk. This guy's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
So, but I am looking forward to March 2nd. That's going to be a really exciting weekend for not only the Kiprusoff family, but for a lot of people that really love and know him.
I think Rhett's resetting. We got to let you go anyway. We know you got to run. You got to. It sounds like a fun day. This is not. This is work. This is not work. This is a play. I guess a play trip, right? You're going to a concert.
It's a play trip. Full disclosure, it's Nickelback. I think I've talked to you guys, or you guys know. Chad is one of my best friends. We kind of grew up together. Or we've been close for 20 years. So I always try and catch him in a city that's not super busy. So they're playing in Humboldt, New Jersey tonight. So, go down, catch the concert. I caught them when they were in Alberta in June, and have a little visit and have a little fun and fly back to real life tomorrow.
Kind of a separate conversation, but do you feel like you talk about vitriol and the hatred that band has taken on for really, in a way, no good reason? Do you feel like they've gotten past that now? It almost feels like they've embraced it. They don't give a shit. It's almost like people have just kind of laid their weapons down. It's like, okay, you guys are what you are. I don't feel that same anti-Nickelback sentiment out there.
You know what it is? They've been around so long that there's a cycle of fans. So I was standing in the concert in Calgary, and Chad started talking about the song Photograph and how they played it for the first time in Calgary. That gave him goosebumps. And I looked around. There was 16,000 people there, and there were kids. Like he said, like, I'm 52 years old, so it's easy. Chad, I think, is 48. So you can look out in the crowd, you can see people your age, but now all of a sudden you're seeing 21-year-olds singing every word to the song. So it's come around to the point where they joke that they were canceled before cancel culture, and they didn't.
You're right, they didn't cancel, and they powered through it.
There's a movie coming out. They just announced today they're going to be at TIFF. I'm just trying to look it up quickly. I was messaging with their manager, and it's a TIFF movie called, God, I gotta find it, because they basically it's like Love to Hate Nickelback, and it's like a documentary movie. And I saw some of the clips of Chad being interviewed, and they talk about some of the vitriol they faced and all that. But if you look at their analytics of some of the how many albums they've sold, how many streams, how much people know, it's almost like
concert tickets.
You either love them or, oh my God,
you either love to hate them or you love them. But honestly, he knows them, and it's kind of neat. Like I say, I've seen them come full circle, and
they're great. If you've never seen them live, they're really good live, because Chad just has a lot of fun. So.
Well, not shocked. Retro, you just jump back in there. It's Nickelback tonight for Noodles, which I know you'll be shocked.
I'm not shocked, but it's on point. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I like to say that. That's me in a
nutshell.
So we'll let you go here, but I know your plans. You're a busy guy in the fall, and now that Rhett and I aren't on the radio anymore, you and O-Dog have, I think, the best sports radio show in the country. So congrats on that.
We can hand that off to you.
Yeah, happy to give you that honor now. So you're doing the TSN stuff. You're doing the radio show. Walk us through your busy winter, your work schedule.
Well, yeah, I do 40 color games for the Ottawa Senators. That's one of our properties. I still do, analyst for Sports Center. I do that about 60 nights. That's hockey. You talked about Overdrive. We do that 5 days a week from 4 to 7. It's just, like I say, it's the car wash, we call it. The minute, I start back September 5th and I'm done July 2nd. I'm 10 months on. So that's why I enjoy my summers off, because once you get into the Mecca here in Toronto, you can talk hockey for 24 hours a day, and they want you to. So I do a bunch of that. So like I say, my day job is Overdrive and calling color for the Senators, plus like I say, just all the other things that come with it, the other shows at Sports Center, and that's hockey. So it's I do the car wash, and looking forward to it, but it's
it's happening a lot sooner than I thought because this summer went very quickly.
Are you traveling for those Senators games, or do you do that in a studio?
No, I travel. I fly in. So even a home game for Ottawa is a road game for me. I'll fly in that morning, go to the rink, call the game, and then fly back the next day. But I love it. I love doing color. Like it is.
I love doing all the things, but like color is live TV. There's no manufactured chats. There's no, who should be the captain and how much should this guy get paid? It's like, you know what? Like this is hockey, and we're talking about it. I love doing color. It's so much fun. I'll tell you guys this quickly. I got to go. I've had 2 concussions in between the benches in the last 3 years. I never got hit by anything in my career. I've been chopped by 2 sticks over the head. So it's embarrassing, but it is what it is. But I love doing it. It's a lot of fun.
Nice. One of the best. Appreciate you, Noodles. Anything before we go, Rhett?
No, well, no, we'll let you go because we want to have you on for sit you down for an hour or sometime and talk to you about all the shit you've done over your life and all the fun stuff and meningitis and chicken and rice and all the great stories at some point. But we appreciate you. If I don't see you before Kipper's thing, I'll see you there. Rest up before, right? Like that's going to be part of the requirements.
Oh yeah, well, definitely. We're a bunch of old men though, so we're gonna have to have like hangover heaven or something. These IVs given to us every morning.
Beautiful. Thanks, James. Appreciate you,
all
pal.
Right,
Be
thanks
well.
for having me, guys.
Yeah,
love you.
Love you. One of the best, Jamie McLennan. You know what? We've been trying because he was away on vacation and we were kind of doing our thing. So, and like you said, we want to get him on because he's got great stories. Right?
Oh, he could go forever.
Because he wrote that book, right? I keep forgetting this. I think I actually own the book. He wrote about being a backup and the travels and the parties and all this sort of stuff that he's done. It's awesome. But there is something we talk about all the time. He was going to be employed because he was so liked. And when you're the level of a Roberto Luongo or Mika Kiprasov, if that's the guy you want, if that's kind of what makes you tick and allows you to be an elite goaltender, yeah, he's the backup. Sign him whatever it takes. And he played for some of the best.
Bring that guy in. And
could play. It's kind of disrespectful, but he was.
It kind of sucked for him because his opportunity to play in Calgary had just happened. And I still remember Brian Rolston ripped a one-time slap shot into his sternum. And everyone even on the bench were like, ooh. That had to hurt. And then he bruised it, and then he was sore, and then they went and got Kipper, and life moves on. And who knows if he doesn't take that shot, what happens? But he knew his role as a backup, and he was clearly one of the best ever at it.
Yeah. He's got great stories.
Great entertainer.
Great entertainer and hard worker.
Oh,
That's a sked. 3 hours of radio a day, plus half a season of color, plus TV, plus all of that. It's like a lot of these guys, you look at them like people look at it in a different class, but you look at Bissonnette, Biz Nasty. It's like, oh, look, his guy works his ass off.
Oh,
Jamie works his ass off. That's a ton of work. So,
yeah,
and still likable. I think you'd be a grouchy prick working all those hours and doing all that. A few things we got to get to here before we head out. Want to tell you about the hearing loss clinic. I'm heading back for a little. Hannah's been. We've got you with your hearing apparatus. We want to get you back in, make sure everything's going. And ordinarily, it'd be like, yeah, I got to get back in there. Things are working great. It's almost like they know what they're doing. Like I said yesterday, 2 days ago, don't take my word for it, because I just put them in my ear and they work. They started the hearing loss clinic in 1993, and they have been getting amazing results for their patients ever since. And the technology is better than ever, and they are better than ever. And I didn't really know. I suspected as you get older, whatever, maybe my hearing's whatever. And then you get in, you get a test. It's like, okay, well, it's actually kind of significant. And then you try these things on and you realize, and only then, how much you've been missing. Whereas if you're having a hard time reading, well, you know that your eyes are bad. Or if something else is happening, you can assess very quickly what you need. 4 Calgary locations to serve you. They got 9 in all: Cranbrook, Creston, Fernie, Golden, and Invermere. They are the very best. Plan with the fall coming up, make it a part of your routine. Hearingloss.ca. Get in, have an assessment done. Might surprise you how big a difference that they can make in your life. Good people over at the Hearing Loss. Wanted to get this in. Now, a couple days ago, went and had a nice little meeting with all the people over at McLeod Law. This is, I don't want to speak out of turn, but, we've been talking about Peter Klein. We sat down for the meeting, and, Austin was there, and a bunch of people, we were all there, but Peter was he was going to be a few minutes, be a few minutes. He was just in the process of, getting things done for his client. Came in, he wasn't going to share any details. He was like, no, things went pretty well. We just got the decision, we got the result that we were hoping for, so today's a good day. Not shocking.
That's what Pete does.
That's what he does. He goes in, kicks ass, comes and sit down with us. That's how it works. But we're going to do a little bit of this day in Flames history for the good people at McLeod Law. McLeod, of course, great. They're in that... they're in the building right across the street from where we used to work, Rhett.
Oh.
Yeah. Kind of weird going down there. Anyway, McLeod-law.com, not about me, once again. But today, August 31st, we go back to 1956, and the Magic Man was born. Kent Nilsson. And you talk about how there's a generation of fans that maybe didn't realize how good Kiprusoff was or whatever. Kent Nilsson, you go over the various iterations of his career. You go to the WHA, the Winnipeg Jets, he wins Avco Cups, and started in Sweden before that, then comes overseas, and then it's Calgary, and then ends up winning a cup with Edmonton right at the end. He is one of the most skilled players of all time. He still owns the most points recorded by a Swedish player in a single NHL season. That same season, he had 131 points in 80-81. That's still the Flames team record for most points in a single season. It's you can play that video, Jack. It's all good. He had 82 helpers in 80-81. That's still the team record for most assists in a single season. And he still has the record for most shorthanded goals in a single season. He had 9 of them in 83-84. War number 14. Interesting to see somebody other than Theo wearing the 14s, but he was so skilled. His actually went to Atlanta first and then came to Calgary, and 131 in that 80-81 season. And then it's funny, you talk about guys that maybe played in the right time or the wrong time. He was 6 foot, a little bit under 200 pounds, but he maybe wasn't as physical as some would have liked. How about let the skill guy be the skill guy? They call it, he's the Magic Man. Do you need the Magic Man to be in on the forecheck? I don't know, but criticizing this guy, and you can see
Magic Man wasn't mixing it up enough.
No,
come on, Magic Man. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, didn't fight enough. Just didn't fight enough. And there you see it. Was traded to Minnesota for a pair of second-round picks. One of them ended up being Joe Nieuwendyk. So, all things considered, Nilsson moves on. Nieuwendyk comes in. Eventually, they win a Stanley Cup. But he is one of the best ever to put on a Flames jersey. He was born on this date back in 1956. Happy birthday to Kent Nilsson. And a hell of a guy, from what I'm told. I've not met Kent. I've met a lot of people.
Nor have I.
Yeah. We've talked a lot about Peter Klein and McLeod Law. It is more than just that. They are a general firm. Whatever it is on the legal side of your life, if you're into something, or it's just we need these people in our lives. There's nowhere else to go. These are down to earth people. They are Calgary based. They know what our city's about. They want to treat Calgarians the right way and share that commitment. They want to make a positive impact. They're constantly giving back to charities and different causes here in our city. Can't say enough for McLeod Law. Contact them for whatever the needs might be, including personal injury with Peter Klein, McLeod-law.com. Long weekend. Is it long weekend in the U.S. as well? Do they do Labor Day? What do they call it there?
I don't know.
Yeah. Probably not important.
No.
Anyway.
As long as it's a day off.
Yeah. Well,
Or are we
in
working
fairness-
on Monday?
No, we're not working. No. Or tomorrow. But I think the run's kind of over because
I know. It's like Noodles said, it's back into
it's
it.
back into it. Starting next week, we will take the Labor Day holiday off, but we are back to business with our regular schedule. We appreciate all of our sponsors, and people have been very supportive of the show. The numbers have been very good for the interviews and the things that we've done over the course of the summer. But yeah, I don't know how much there's going to be in the early part of September because season starts October. Training camp, as long as it is, doesn't start till late September. So anyway, but we're going to get back at it. Rookies, training camp, preseason games, so many preseason games. Too many. But I guess the main part that will affect most people's lives is that Barn Burner back to the 5-day-a-week deal. Starting
Every day you can be happy again.
So happy to have us doing it. Do you have anything going on this weekend? Is it kids?
Oh, God. Do I have anything? 3 kids in your house, you always have something. Although it's less than the next weekend, but there's plenty.
Head coach. I did not see that in your future.
Well, I wouldn't put a lot of stock in it. So
No, it's not true. Yeah, not true. But yeah, we're. I was maybe going to go to that football game, but you know how
no, I don't think you should. Well, maybe you should. Just
maybe I
suck it up and go.
Maybe you
great.
should. But
Take it some vodka and soda. And who cares?
well, no, I got this Buffalo trip I got to plan now.
That's right. That's right.
Sunday the 17th. I'm sure my wife will like me leaving. Just as school's getting started, kids going every direction. I was going to go eat wings with Retro for a few days. That cool? Sure,
Yeah.
it'll go over.
Kids got to figure some shit out for themselves at some point. Let's
Yeah,
go.
they sure do. Let's do our Betway bets, and we'll get out of here today. Betway, get the Betway app on your phone. It's right there. It's right on your phone. Check the odds. Play along. Ontario, 19 of age or over, and bet the responsible way. Now, Pinder was part of the program earlier, as you know, and then took off for what he said was something health-related. Dodgy. I need to be out at 11:15 today. Oh. When does the 10 to noon show run? Anyway, Pinder's Betway bet of the day. The Atlanta Braves at the LA Dodgers. I'll tell you what. Strider is a stud. Just constantly mowing teams down. The Dodgers, good team. But Pinder is going with 8+ Ks, strikeouts for Strider of the Braves, plus 220. That's a good number because this guy is... You know what he is? He's a flamethrower. He is a flamethrower. So that's the Pinder bet. Over 8Ks for Strider of the Braves, plus 220. I'm going to jump ahead to the Labor Day Classic. It's Edmonton at Calgary. As bad as Edmonton has been, they're right behind the Stamps in the standings. Stamps have been close, and they can't get over it. It's been a trying season for Dave Dickinson and his Stampeders. The line is 4.5. Feel like it's going to be a close one. I'm going to take the Elks plus the 4.5. Don't think straight up. I think Stamps might get that. It could be a Paredes field goal to win it. So I'm going to take the 4.5 points for the Elks and take a minus 110 for my Betway bet of the day. Wow. All the Labor Day games are on there. Winnipeg in Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan always tough on Labor Day.
Manageable.
The week after, yeah. What's the word with the Riders? How are people feeling?
Nobody's mentioned the Riders, so it can't be good.
It's that kind of year. That kind of year. Betway, bet the responsible way with Betway. That's going to probably do it. Now, you had some technical difficulties. I see you're on your phone there now.
Apparently, and being on the phone sucks because you got to hold it and blah, blah, blah. But apparently, you got to have the switch. See that switch back there by the door, the light switch?
Yeah.
If that's not on, the plugin's not working for the computer.
I see.
Live and learn, deal.
Yeah,
live and learn.
It's your new your new living arrangement.
Yeah, the new mansion.
That's why we do these shows. By the time we're back to full time, you'll have all these things ironed out.
No.
Have it all figured out.
Probably not.
It's going to do it. Appreciate you. Subscribe, like, support the sponsors. It's the only way this thing works. We appreciate your support. Everybody have a fine long weekend, and we will be back live on Tuesday as we get into year number 2 of Barn Burner here with Flames Nation and the Nation Network. I know you can feel the excitement. We're just dying to do it. Love you, buddies. See you next week. Have a great weekend.